All right, welcome to another episode of Comic Book Squares. We got another great one today. My name's Shane.
I'm Carrie.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike. Let's get this show started.
All right, well, welcome to another episode. Really excited about this one. This is really unique. We've got a great, I don't know, if creator. Well, I guess you are a creator because you're a
I am.
creator of this kind of platform to get more indie comics out there, and I'm always in 100% favor of that. So, Saurabh, do me a favor, kind of tell us a little bit about. Got it.
You got it.
Tell us a little bit about your project and what's going on with it.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on the show, Shane. Really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Saurabh. If you don't know me yet, I'm the founder of Comics.one. That's COMIX.one. And it's basically a platform for indie comics. We want to become like an ecosystem, really, but we want to start with something that a problem that all the comic creators face. And I'll give you a brief history on how I came about this idea, because I, like you said, I'm a creator myself. I'm a writer. I've published a couple of books, and I have published a comic book. I have also published some short stories in science fiction and magazines, and things like that. So I have written a fair bit myself, and I'm also a software engineer by trade. So I've kind of married both of these things together into this platform, with my extreme passion for comics. Um, yeah, so I chanced upon this idea when I started doing my own Kickstarter. I did it an anthology with a few other folks a few years ago in 2017. And back then, it was a fun idea. We did the whole thing. It was pretty intense, like all Kickstarters are, how it is, right? uh, but at the end, like once it ended, the biggest question for us was, what do we do with it now? Where do we actually go and sell it, or where do people actually find it? Where do people discover it? Where do people actually go and read it? You know, so and what I've observed over the years as well is a lot of creators want to go from campaign to campaign, and they want to sell from campaign to campaign because that's where the whole bulk of audience come in. They also try to find new audiences during that campaign itself. But what happens between those two campaigns? It's very interesting because there's a lot of like dull time. There's just a downtime between the campaigns. There's not a lot of sales going on. There's not a lot of fan engagement going on during that time. So I think my core idea when it started was actually to fill that void, between the campaigns. And now it's kind of taken that life of its own, and it's snowballed into this thing where I want to actually build a full life cycle of comics. So the way modern indie comics work is people have an idea, they put it out there to their fans, and then fans decide whether to fund it or not using crowdfunding, right? And when these ideas come to life post crowdfunding, that's when the real work starts. That's when you want to actually trying to find new kind of audiences, new fans, and you want to keep talking to your existing fans, tell them about plans of say issue 2, and things like that. And what happens between these campaigns is you spend like 6 months waiting for like writing issue 2, and then creating another campaign up for that. And people are really invested in your story. They've already finished issue 1. They're eagerly waiting for issue 2 for a year and a half. you know so
Right.
you kind of start losing fans in between. So what I aim with this platform is to reduce that lead time between the two issues by creating this platform where you're constantly selling and discovering new audiences, which means you're
Mhm.
also trying to solve the problem of raising a lot of money for your next campaign. You don't want to raise like $6,000 for your next campaign, right? And then you want to be able to pay your artists in advance, and things like that. So if you're constantly making money off of your existing work, that's when you actually go and you're like, Yeah, I can actually pay my artist in advance or my letter in advance, and then the risk for the next campaign actually reduces significantly.
Mhm.
And that's when you'll be able to produce your best work, when you're not strictly worried about constantly engaging your audiences, and stressing about your next campaign, and things like that. So yeah, sorry, I'm speaking a lot.
No, no, it's
Does that
great. You
make
got a
sense?
lot of yeah, there's a lot of information to digest for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I guess uh, my question is, I had a chance to do some research, before we had a chance to talk, and so I was looking on the platform, and the way that it works is, can you talk me through when I'm discovering a new comic, and then I look at the price, and that price that I pay, does that give me a digital version of the comic, or do I get a printed version in the mail? How does that work?
Yeah, so at the moment, platform is digital only,
Okay.
but we are that's a good part. We're actually slowly rolling out the print program. So we did a pilot in 2023 for the print, and the way we are trying to do it is we want to. In post-COVID world, shipping is exorbitant, right?
Mhm.
All the costs have gone up, both shipping and printing and fulfillment. Everything is pretty expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
So, and if you're in the US and you have fans in, say, the UK or Australia or Canada, you're paying like $25 to ship them,
Mhm.
across the pond.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, the way we are kind of working is we're trying to create local hubs. We already have a local hub in Australia, and we're also working on a local hub in the US, where we can get printing, fulfillment, and all the shipping done through our local hubs. And all the creators have to do is upload a print friendly format of their comic book. So,
Oh,
like we give them the specifications, they just upload the digital version of their print friendly comic book, we print it and ship it for them,
nice.
So this is what we're working on right now. And it's kind of uh, going to work like there's going to be limited print runs rather than like 100% print on
Mhm,
demand, because print on demand is quite expensive to
mhm,
both the creators and the readers. So we're kind of trying to do like limited print runs, so we have like 50 to 100
mhm,
copies at the same time, so that it reduces the cost for both the readers and the creators, and it also makes sense for us to be able to do that, but yeah, we take all the workload from the creators, we pay them a good royalty fee, which is 20%, which is
mhm.
much higher than pretty much anyone out there.
Right.
For every $10 of products sold on the platform, they get $2, which is
Mhm.
for all they have to focus on producing their work. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when we interview, artists and creators on this show, that's definitely something that we talk to them about is, the stress involved in not only are you being an artist and coming up with a creative, piece of art that you want to put out into the world, but you've also got to turn that off and put on this other side of your brain that makes you the business side and the marketing and the printing aspect. So it's exciting that you're kind of taking that burden off of them, because I think a lot of artists shy away from the business side of it because their brain is more working in a creative mode. So that's exciting. With
Absolutely.
the yeah, with the digital side of it, is it then live on your platform exclusively?
No, so our platform is completely not exclusive. Like you can sell wherever you want. You can come and sell on our platform. You're always welcome,
Mm,
and we will always
good.
promote you. We have a YouTube channel and Twitter and all the other social media where we feature our creators and we do interviews with them as well. But yeah, you're most welcome to, because obviously at the end of the day, creators own their IPs, and
Mhm,
they should always be able to own their I would say own their destiny, because
mhm.
yeah, my platform is good. At the moment it's very new. I
Yeah,
can't be exclusive at the moment,
right, right.
but once there's an audience, a big enough audience, even on my platform, I'm pretty sure creators would prefer that to the other platforms, because it's good enough and not because it's exclusive. So,
Sure.
but yeah, my whole aim is for creators to be able to have more control over the direction of their own product and their own, creative, what do you say, pathways.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's great. Yeah, I mean, just reading, reading the about you page on the website, gave me a little insight into who you are and where your values are. So I really think that's commendable that seems like you're very focused on the indie creator and more being an assistant to them and helping them. And help to get their art out into the world. I think that's fantastic.
thank you.
What I was going for in my question more was, um, if I go onto your website and I buy one of their books on your site digitally, that's I have to go back to your site then to look at it digitally, or do I get to download it digitally? How does that process work?
Oh yeah, so we have both the options. You can either download the book and read it
Oh,
in your favorite reader offline,
oh, great.
and we also have an online reader on the desktop. We're coming up with an iPad app. Actually, we are very close to start testing the iPad app and release it in the next few months. So yeah, there'll be much more value to actually reading on the website and the iPad
Hmm.
app, because our aim for the fans. I've been
Hmm.
talking a lot about creators, but for the fans, I want this to be their digital vault for their comics, right? Like, I don't want this to go away. I want this for them to be able to collect, and then a lot of fans I know, because I'm a fan. I love to collect comics as well.
Right.
Is to create good archives and to create really good, well arranged collections. So
Yeah.
so you can basically create nice collections for your comics, even in your digital world. And really, the idea for the digital side of things is for people to be able to sample the comic before they actually go and buy the print version of it, right? Like,
Mm.
for that's what a lot of creators want to go for. But at the same time, digital has other benefits as well, right? Like, you can you don't it just doesn't take too much shelf space, and
Yeah. Right.
yeah, you can carry your collection wherever you want,
Right.
especially when you're like shifting houses and things like that.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yep.
um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, those are definitely there, and you can read much more comics in digital format. Like, I'm as someone who lives in Australia, I know this for sure, that I wouldn't have funded so many crowdfunding campaigns if not for digital, because for me, getting a print version shipped from the US is like,
Hmm.
for an $8 comic I have to pay $25 shipping.
Yeah. It's expensive.
For some comics I do, but not for all of them. Yeah. So yeah, digital definitely helps cross those boundaries really well, and really, like, I think that's the future as well. So we print some, and we keep some in digital format, so that's why I want to keep both the aspects of comic books alive. I don't want to go for like one or the other, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely. I understand. And so one thing I wanted to bring up was I noticed on the website that you specifically mentioned that this doesn't have anything to do with NFTs or crypto or any of that. Tell me a little bit about what prompted that on your site and why you want to make that a differentiator between your platform and others.
Absolutely. So I think this was a few years ago when Kickstarter started doing the blockchain thing, and it freaked out a lot of creators, because around that time NFTs were booming as well. Because I think we talked about this earlier, but there was this piece I read about a Wonder Woman comic being converted into an NFT, and the create the NFT owner sold it for like, what, $7.5 million, and the creator got nothing. And it was
Wow.
also an IP owned by Marvel, so sorry, DC. but
DC, yeah.
but yeah, so nobody gets anything in an
Yeah.
NFT except the person who minted it. So
Yeah.
um, And so a lot of creators, definitely, including myself, actually don't believe in that concept.
Mm,
It's because I feel like it is prone to so many. Like, it's not a proven model just yet,
mm,
and it has a long way to go before we can actually say it's both ethical, and it has all the guardrails that we have
mm.
with our existing IP system for all the creators to be able to confidently put their work out as an NFT. So till the time we have that, I would say, like, a complete no to an NFT, because I think it's not very friendly for the creators. For other blockchain and crypto things, a lot of I know, especially from the community, that a lot of people have apprehensions about the environmental aspect of it, and like how Bitcoin is
Mm,
consumes so much energy, and things like that. My personal belief, I'm in tech. I've been in tech for over
mhm.
20 years now, and like, I've never believed that much in both crypto and blockchain myself. So it's more of personal belief that, like, I don't want to go down that route. But
Right.
I also see from the community that it's not a widely acceptable point of view as well. So yeah, kind of works out that my values, personal values, align with the community.
Yeah, I remember, there was a few years, year ago that we did an interview with a creator, and they had mentioned something about Kickstarter and their connection to NFTs or crypto in some fashion, and I don't remember all the details, but they went out of their way to just avoid them altogether and go with a different crowdfunding platform, just is a bit of a protest in that
Yeah,
space. It's interesting.
yeah. I think
Hmm.
at the moment maybe it's a good thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to the creator, but yeah, including myself, a lot of other platforms. And this is me getting real, don't have the kind of audience that Kickstarter has, right? it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's it's really big, and it's the biggest platform out there. And also, I think their blockchain plans have dampened. I think a lot of creators lost trust in Kickstarter at that point of
Mhm.
time, because the way all the community conversations were handled. So I was in touch with one of the community reps from comics, Fraser Campbell. He's a great guy. Amazing comic creator. You must definitely
Mhm.
check out his work.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was pretty, like, he was over it. He still uses Kickstarter. He hasn't left it, but he was
Mm.
pretty over it at that point. He was like, this is like, it's almost like falling on deaf ears. They're just like
Yeah.
saying the same thing, singing the same tune. They haven't changed anything in their proposal, even after a lot of community feedback. So it's yeah, it was like people were kind of feeling like they were hitting a wall with Kickstarter at that point, and I
Yeah.
think that's what prompted a lot of protest. So,
Interesting.
like, yeah, that's what I want to do in the future. Like, I want this to be a very open channel where people can actually come and share feedback. We already have a
Yeah.
feedback link on the website where people can actually report bugs or tell me what features they want, and things that they don't like, and just DM me as well. Like, I'm pretty open about it. So yeah,
That's
if you
awesome.
don't
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah. So I just want that to be an open channel. I haven't put a lot of things in place just yet because I'm a one person. Uh,
Sure.
you know. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I want to run a Discord server or whatever at some point, but it's too much work to start with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like I was saying, even from like we were talking before earlier about being a comic creator and all of the business side of things that you need to do from even just opening the LLC and just all the paperwork that's involved with that, and being a kind of a one man band. It's very challenging. Like you said, you want to open a Discord and then run that, and also do all your social media postings, and then
oh yeah,
post videos to promote your platform, and working on the platform itself. It's daunting, especially
yeah,
when it's not generating a tremendous amount of revenue initially, which is the case with most small businesses when they first start off. So kudos to you for looking out for the community and sticking
thank you.
with it. I think there's tremendous value in what you're doing, and should be commended for that.
Yeah.
So one
Let me
thing I
post
wanted to
on
ask.
five. Sorry to cut you
Oh,
off.
good.
Let me post on
Yeah, that's
five social media channels for you, and not yourself, because
yeah, right,
talking
right.
about protest, so
Yeah,
many people have
yeah,
split the social media 5 ways now. So
yep. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about is, since this is going to be, it sounds like the vision is a great place for people to be able to pick up maybe past books from a Kickstarter campaign that might be 5 books in, and they want to have a place to be able to go get the previous issues and just keep that conversation alive and people interest in their books that they're putting out. Are you thinking about? I didn't see it when I was on there, but are you thinking about maybe adding like a social media element to it so creators can be able to connect with their fans on your site?
yes. So I think that's the next version of it. Like that's this 2024. I'm going to double down on that. And So, like you said, not I don't want to call it social media for like I don't
Yeah.
want people to stop posting on Twitter and
Right. Right.
join comment,
Okay.
but a place where they can interact with their fans. So
Hmm.
through like people can say post updates, and
Hmm.
like this is fans can actually follow their favorite creators, get updates on like a timeline kind of thing, similar to say Twitter or Blue Sky. And
Hmm.
then people can run polls and see, like I see this very often where people ask a question: would you fund this comic, or do you like this
Right.
page? So they can actually test, uh, like in tech we have A/B testing. And A/B
Hmm.
testing is basically you show people two versions of the same thing and then ask them which works better. So people can do things like that with
Yeah.
their pages, covers, whatever, like ideas, story ideas as well. So yeah, whatever helps them keep the fan base and retain them, and create new fans as well. So yeah, I haven't thought much on the fan side just yet, but I think the creator fan interaction is the one that I am focusing on in the first version. The next version would be something like fans doing like fan theories, and have something like forums that are specific to comics, which
Hmm.
is like if you see on the comic page, you should be able to see like fan discussion
Right.
regarding that comic or series or things like that. But for that, I'll have to get to the series first, where you can see have a page for the series,
Yeah.
and then fans can actually discuss uh, all the things across the whole story arc there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I feel like that's one big differentiator between indie comics and, the big players, Marvel and DC and Image, is that you can actually connect with the creator in a more intimate way. Whereas, the people that are creating the books on the bigger platforms, they're kind of hired guns, and you're never going to get to talk to the actual CEO of those
Yeah.
organizations who control the IP because it's such important IP that they're not going to do anything to damage that in any way. Whereas I feel with an indie in the indie world, you could have that relationship where you could talk to them and say, "Hey, be cool if you introduce something like this," and they'll actually be able to entertain it and maybe incorporate fans' ideas, especially if a lot of fans feel the same way about a particular storyline or whatever. You can have that dialogue and be like you're connected, you're part of it. That's one of the allures I feel like of indie that you're definitely more connected to the creator.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And like even with like talking about mainstream comics, a lot of like even if you're directly able to connect with the creators on social media, a lot of times they're not able to give you specifics into what they're
Hmm.
thinking, and like the IP is so closely guarded by the companies that it's really hard. So yeah, like you said correctly, having that whole like intimate relationship between creators and fans is what indie is all about, and that's what I want to nurture going forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, very cool. Well, I'm very excited about your platform, and I truly wish you all the best. I think your heart's in the right place, and I love what you're doing, and what I'm seeing so far is just fantastic. So, hopefully, this show can bring some more eyeballs to your site and just continue to see it grow. And I'm always a big fan of any way to bring more artwork out into the world. Is it just makes it a better world to live in. So I'm super happy for you, and hopefully this can help in some fashion.
Thank you so much, Shane. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. We really love bringing you, stories like this that can help bring more art into the world. Please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and we'll keep bringing you content like this. We'll see you on the next one.